Well, hello everybody out there. How are we all doing today? Welcome back to the first Howell Wildlife Photography Convention's live stream of 2024. Welcome everybody who might just be signing on. It's your host here. This is Bongo, myself, and Steve Dunsford, the two organizers of Howell. We're happy to have you here. So, of course, Howell happens in November this year. Howell will be happening November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in 2024. I have some very mysterious, exciting news, and that is today I was actually chatting with who is going to be our headliner speaker this year. I can't quite release all the details just yet. The ink is still drying off on our contract, but I'm going to have that information available to you. We're very excited about our headline speaker, and of course, we always have a total of 5 keynote speakers at Howell. And so anyways, those details are going to be coming at you probably within this week. And then, of course, we also do feature our speakers on the live stream to promote the event leading up to the event here. And who's out there? We've got Steve is out there, Richard's out there, and of course Kenny is out there as well. We also have Kenny with us today that will be presenting as well. Actually, Kenny's going to be going first today. Yeah, Kenny, are you there on the call?
I'm here.
All right, fantastic. So yeah, you were, as we were prepping for this call, you were telling me how you don't actually have a whole lot of winter photography in your portfolio because you used to live south of where we normally get snow in Guelph. So yeah, give me a little insight into your winter photography adventures.
Well, they usually started heading up to the park. I personally love the winter up in the park. I love winter, period. Just obviously down south with all the inner city heat and everything, you never really get to experience the winters for what they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, my winter photos, like I said earlier, look like fall photos. So unless I'm up in the park, that's the only time I get. And most of the time I was wildlife. Never really did landscape.
Yeah.
And so I figured the only way to get my portfolio bigger is to do landscape, to show the winter scene.
Yes.
And so that's what I've done with a few photos. I do have some that I could edit for the next winter.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And I mean, now you do live in the area of Lake of Bays, right? And so, yeah, you're going to have a lot more snow on your doorstep, perhaps, right?
Oh, yeah, yep. I love waking up and my window is a sliding door and it's just white.
It's great. Yeah, as it should be in the wintertime, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you have a brand new venture as well, if you want to tell us a little bit about that. TwoLoonsWoodshop.com. What's that all about?
I am adventuring into, after my last adventure fell through, so I'm quite resourceful, so I started up a woodworking shop. I do live edge tables, serving boards, I do laser engraving, and I do framing for people who do photography. So I have hardwood frames. It's not MDF. They're not laminated with anything. It's just natural hardwood. So if you want your walnut, you're going to get a nice dark walnut. If you want like a nice sugar maple, you're going to have like some dark with some nice light in there. And yeah, and they're reasonably priced, cheaper than anything you could get in China, and they're made right here in Canada.
There's really nothing better than that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so for everybody out there, that's TwoLoonsWoodshop.com, or also just on Instagram, you can check out TwoLoonsWoodshop. So that's super cool. But we are here to look at some pictures, though. So let's get those up. Give me a second here to load it up. And expand that. And let's get your face back on there. All right. So we're just going to dive right into it here. Now, I know you're very passionate about birds, so how fitting it is that we're looking at a bird photo here to get us started.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite birds of all time It's just the greatest symbol. The blue jay, the whiskey jack, the gray jay. They're just unique birds. These birds, I have to say, are probably for the songbird is probably the prettiest bird in North America. Well, for what I think, anyways.
Yeah.
It's just they're just gorgeous. But their feather pattern, everything about them, and when the snow falls on them or around them, it just makes the picture just look so Canadian.
Yeah.
You can't get any more Canadian than a whiskey jack sitting on a pine with snow falling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, how fitting too that this is Canada's national, I mean, it's called the Canada Jay, right? Yeah.
Canada, and they are so pretty, and I'm so thankful that they're up in Algonquin Park for the short period of time that they are.
Yeah.
With the chickadees and the nuthatches, and they're just so trusting and friendly, which is like another thing that symbolizes Canada.
Right? Yeah. I heartily agree with you. Extremely friendly and just completely adorable as well.
Yeah, and they are very photogenic birds.
Very photogenic. Yes. Yeah. And earlier, before we started the stream, we were just chatting a little bit about, how climate change is really dramatically changing the wintertime experience here with lack of snow and, just not really thick ice and this kind of stuff. So, and I have heard that that Canada Jays are a little vulnerable to the warming trends. Because as I understand, they store a lot of their food, and then their food can actually spoil if it's not cold enough. As I understand, I don't know if you have any tidbits of information about some gray jay behavior like that.
Well, that's pretty much what it is. Like, there's only certain birds out there that can actually stomach spoiled foods, and obviously a songbird is not one of them.
Yeah.
So what we'll probably see in the future, with the temperature rising, is you won't see snowy owls coming south.
Right.
You won't see gray jays coming south. You won't see your northern hawk owl coming south.
Right.
With the climate change, because their food source is gonna be accessible. Besides, the snowy is a daytime hunter bird.
Yeah.
It will somewhat travel a little bit further south for the daylight.
Yeah.
But other than that, you won't see a lot of birds storing cash anymore, because if it spoils, you're only giving it to the ravens, vultures, and crows.
Yeah.
Because there's not many birds that have that lining in the stomach that can digest spoiled food.
Of course. Yeah. And then Richard's just typing in, boreal chickadees are pretty rare at this point. And yep, that's probably absolutely correct. And it kind of makes sense because it's just too warm.
I haven't even seen a pine grosbeak this year.
Oh, is that right?
In the park.
No. Wow. So yeah, it's real and it's happening. So more reason to care about conservation, right?
Oh yeah. Conservation is key. People got to start paying attention to what they're doing, and it's not about the drastic change of certain things. Like I know we're a little bit off topic here. I don't believe EV is the way to go. I think hybrid is our way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at what EV is doing to our natural resources and to our planet, just if you look at how much it takes to make one battery, you can't even put them out with water or foam. You just got to let the car burn.
Right.
If there's a fire and all that toxins go into the air, there's not a single insurance company that will pay for an EV car to go into recycling.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we don't even have a recycling plant for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're opening up one in Arizona, like in a couple months. But to top that all off, like, who's gonna pay to dispose of a battery, not a car battery, the car itself? That's a lot. So
yeah,
we're in a tough position. I think if people just opened up their eyes and went full hybrid, you would probably have a better chance with climate change than anything else.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, we should have been driving all hybrids yesterday, right? You know, like that technology can't be expedited faster, right? Like it.
No, and they have vehicles that can do it. Like I need a pickup truck, but the e-torque Dodge Ram is just as good as the fuel one. So,
yeah.
like, you know, Ford has a great eco motor. Companies have it.
Yeah.
It depends on whose pocket do you want to line to make it onto the market.
Right. Hopefully some leaders that really care about our future.
Hopefully.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, Joe. Yeah. So Joe Rogue is out there. We were going to have Joe here featured today, but sadly Joe's having some technical difficulties. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, Joe. But that's okay. You know, we're gonna try to do this once a month. So if we don't get it today, we'll be able to have you on a future live stream. So, Joe, while you're out there in the comments, with your permission, I have all your photos here. I would be happy to show them to the audience here, and maybe if you want through the comments, you can type in a comment per photo. Maybe we can try that. Anyways, we'll go through the rest of Kenny's photos, but Joe, if you're out there, please do let me know if you're okay with that. Speaking of which, let's go to our next Kenny photo here. Let me click that. Here we go. All right. Look at that. A Northern Canadian highway. Tell us more about this image right here.
This image is one that I always wanted to get.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it with like a massive snowbank like there usually is on Highway 60.
Right.
This is right near the T Lake, the ice wall.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's something about this corner that has always like captured my eye, especially with the ice on it and the snow.
Yeah.
The clouds were just breaking up. It was probably just before 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And the roads were just nice. You know, there was a nice little black ice on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just looked right for me to start taking the picture. So this is a 3-panel shot.
Okay.
And it's I don't know why it's one of my favorite spots on the highway.
Yeah.
In Algonquin Park there, especially in the wintertime. Besides around the corner when you get that big ice wall.
Yeah.
But this, I don't know, this corner this morning when I jumped out of the car and I actually like walked along the highway to take the photos.
Yeah.
Instead of on the tripod.
Yeah.
It just worked, and the way it all fell together, I was just like extremely happy with it. There wasn't a lot of snow. Like usually like that left or right sign is like
buried.
You know, buried.
Yeah.
So I was so happy when I was able to get this, and you know, it was a nice day. It was a beautiful day, and this is probably one or two of my my first attempts at landscape. My friend Pearl, she's the one who talked me into like try doing landscape, because like at least you could do more in the park than just like look for wildlife. And
yeah,
she's right?
Yeah.
Like so, a lot of people, like I was never one for doing. The only landscape I would ever do is like a nightscape with like Milky Way or Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Never really wanted to do daytime landscape, long exposure or anything, but I just started taking it up probably just after COVID, I would say.
Yeah.
This was taking it about 2022.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of my first landscape panels and daytime shot without attempting an animal in it.
Very cool. Very cool. And Richard's lighting in the light snow on the trees is perfect, of which I totally agree. How early in winter is this?
This is actually...
Or maybe it's later.
It's actually mid. I'm trying to think when... It had to be February.
Wow.
Yeah, we went up to the Musher to stay that weekend.
Yeah.
And it had to been February.
Yeah.
when we went up and I got this photo.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely.
It was a mild one because I remember like Steve was saying when Pearl and I went up, he was like, "Oh yeah, like I haven't even seen the trail for the snowmobiles go by yet this year," and there was very little snow in the park that year.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I do remember that winter as well,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh yeah, I only needed to use the snowblower about twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was there was very little snow in the park, and yeah, this photo was done in it was mid-February
Cool.
for sure.
Cool. And what do you just use Lightroom for your panos?
For the panel, I used Photoshop.
Okay.
And,
Cool.
Yeah, it was very. I was gonna use a tripod, but then I wouldn't have got the bend in the road.
Yeah.
So I when I got out of the car, I actually like took a photo, held it against and took like 3 steps.
Yeah.
Took a photo, 3 steps, took a photo. So I was able to get the bend in the road to make it look like that nice long. That nice long drive, even though that corner is not that far from that pull off.
Right. Yeah.
At T Lake, it's like literally like feet, but it looks like it's about like a football field away there.
Yeah. And the photo really captures that bend there so well.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
one of my favorite shots that I've taken for actual landscape.
Very cool. Very cool. And that yellow of the sign and the thing on the road, I love that as well. Contrasting.
Yeah, I popped those a bit. It was a little bit it was a bit dim.
Yeah.
And this spot here where the turn is, I actually had to add that yellow in where it says True North.
Yeah.
I actually had to add that in because there's actually there's no paint there.
Ooh, okay.
So I had to,
cool.
Added it in just to give you that more depth of look onto the road.
Yeah.
Starting up further up the road a bit.
Yeah. That's really cool. And yeah, all of which is totally allowed. I mean, you know, there's so many artistic decisions that go into taking a picture, you know, all of the moments when you're there with the camera, and then of course in your post-processing as well, right?
Oh, yeah. And you know, I could have threw a moose or a wolf or something there, but I just didn't want Steve to comment right away.
Yeah, Steve doesn't mind the enhanced yellow, but yeah, no, you put a mega animal in there, and then yeah, you're crossing some ethical boundaries.
If there was a beaver, he would probably be like, "Tell me where that spot is."
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I think this image just perfectly captures Highway 60 in the winter.
Oh, thank you.
Just awesome. Very cool. Okay, let's go to our next one here. Aha! A very well-known island is this, right?
That is Lake of Two Rivers.
Look at that.
That is there's something about the drive along that island on Highway 60 that just they should actually put up a black screen so you can't see it, because I'm actually surprised nobody's driven into the river there, because it's just such an iconic view.
Yeah.
You kind of lose focus that you're on the road driving.
Yeah.
You just want to stare at it.
Yep.
I don't know why, but there's just something about this spot in the park that is, I'm gonna say, just takes you away.
Yep.
It just you go there, you drive through, and it's one of those scenic spots where as soon as you turn and you pass the cedars and the pines, and then it opens up and you see it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those views where you're like, life's not that bad.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And it's not the only spot in the park, but there's just something about this island. There's just something about this spot in the park that is just it takes you into like a trance, and you just it's iconic in the fall, winter, spring, summer, when it's dark, when it's light out. It's by far my favorite spot.
Yeah.
For Milky Way, for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the Northern Lights ever faced that way, that would have been that'd be a dream.
Yep.
But you'd have to have a good storm like the other one, like 4 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Richard's writing in, I love the clouds, and Richard also said it's iconic, and yes, that is the right word to describe this view. An iconic view. Love the rays of light over top of the silhouette of the island. And I'm trying to think, is this trying to guess the time of day here? And don't tell me, because is this like end of day? Is this end of day light?
This is end of daylight.
Okay.
No, this is sorry.
Or is it sunrise? Is it beginning?
Sunrise.
This is sunrise?
This is sunrise.
Yeah.
Facing east.
We're east. Yeah. Okay, I got my directions all wrong. Of course. This is east. Okay.
Oh. Probably around. That's probably, I think, in between 8. I would say in between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
Okay. Oh, I should have. Okay. Yeah. All right. I lost a point just there for guessing wrong. But yeah, and with the clouds, and there is this quality to the light, especially at this time in dawn and dusk. Oh, I see Joe right there.
Joe's there.
There is this quality to
okay. Joe, can you hear me?
Oh, I see Joe right there.
Give me a second here, Joe. If you can turn off the volume on your device.
Some stuff out.
No problem.
Give me a second here, Joe. If you can turn off.
Okay, I've just muted Joe there as he figures out his stuff. Okay, we'll have you on, Joe. Okay, here, actually, I'll unmute Joe here quickly. Oh, I can't unmute somebody else. Oh, okay. When you're ready, Joe, you can unmute yourself then. Okay, but before Kenny, you're still there, right?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Anyways, and we will get to Joe's photos in just a second. But anyways, what I was going to say is that the way the snow absorbs your dawn and dusk light, to me, is very magical, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Just like the snow isn't like blindingly bright right at this point. It's just slowly absorbing all of that light.
That's a challenge with winter photography.
It is a challenge. Yes.
Is the light blowout.
Yes.
You gotta watch out for your blowing out and everything. This particular photo, I did. I didn't do a lot of Photoshop on it. What I did is I actually matted the foreground.
Yeah.
Just so those rays would pop through a bit.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's not like if it was like, oh, there's too much shadow or anything. I just wanted to have like I like to edit my photos and have like the matte look on top of it.
Yeah.
Not like 100%, but maybe 30.
Yeah.
So I did that to the bottom piece. The top part's not touched. It was just the bottom, because I had to do something else. You wouldn't have gotten that far end of the island. It was in shadow.
Yeah.
So I used that to bring it out, because then it would have just looked like it was an extension of the hills behind it.
Yeah.
And so now with it showing that it's an island, you can tell that.
I see exactly what you mean. Yeah. I think those post processing decisions, I think, are completely smart ones right there.
Thank you. Yeah, and like I said, man, like Richard said, the spot's it's just iconic. You could go there for sunrise. You could do the long exposure, first thing in the morning when all the canoes and the kayaks are sitting along the shore, and you can just get one heck of a photo. The loons on this lake are amazing. It's just like Richard said, it's an iconic spot. I love the spot, and it's easily like my favorite spot in the park as a whole.
Yep.
Well, along the corridor.
Yeah.
Zachary and stuff has like its own like wow moments. But...
yeah. Oh yeah, like Barron Canyon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Richard just adds, oh, these are Richard's 3 top iconic spots: Lake of Two Rivers Island, Tree at Smoke Lake, and Turtle Rock.
Oh yeah, the tree at smoke. That's yeah.
Yeah, those are definitely the greatest hits right there. And then Richard also
Even that cabin on Cash across the
yeah,
green cabin.
yeah,
Like that's so like Tom Thompson or any group of 7 really.
yeah,
that cabin.
yeah, yeah. Richard also says, I wonder what it would be like in black and white with the dramatic light. So that
Good question.
and that's another fun thing to do, is just go back and reprocess.
I might have to just try it.
Just try it. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, and let's go on to our next one here. Oh, speaking of black and white, here's one. Cool. This is a lone tree. Is this south of Algonquin?
This is actually taken just down the street from where I used to live in Guelph.
Gotcha.
So this tree, I always wanted to get a photo of it. I wanted to get a photo of it in the fall because it's a nice sugar maple.
Yeah.
It has the brightest orange leaves on it.
Oh yeah.
But because it's the only tree in the farm field,
Yeah.
Guelph is very windy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You do not ever get a nice full photo of this. You'll get it in the summertime when it's all green.
Yeah.
But the second it turns orange,
Yeah.
they just start falling.
Yeah.
The wind picks up and they just fall.
No chance.
It was a nice day here, very overcast day, and I was like, I'm just gonna walk out onto the field and take a photo of the tree as is, just because I had a vision of a black and white picture.
Yeah.
When I was driving by it, and so yeah, I got out, did the black and white, and just it was just a tree that, like I said, I always wanted to get a photo of it. It's on a back road. I drove by this tree probably thousands of times.
Yeah.
And I've gotten photos of it mid-fall, green, with all the corn stalk around it when the corn turned gold,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. But I've never ever gotten a photo of this tree in the fall with full color.
Yeah.
It was the leaves have always gone, or it's sad. There's so many trees in Guelph that are maple, and I've always walked around Guelph to take the photos.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it is so windy in Guelph, and when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not even kidding about the rain. I've had my barbecue blow out because the wind would. I'd go out there and my steak would still be raw, like still bleeding, and I'm like, oh man, it smells like propane out here, and it because it blew out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad that I haven't gotten one. I'm still confident that I will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, just to have this photo, I had a vision when I drove by it. I'm like, I'm gonna do this in black and white when I get home, and the little shadow on the field.
Yes.
And it was just pristine. There was no markings on the snow. There was nothing. There was no old stalk of corn popping through. Nothing. So it was just a nice crisp white. And I'm like, I'm gonna do something with this photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is probably one of the only times where you could tell there's not a lot of snow because you still see the bottom of the tree and the root.
Yeah.
Where it starts to root out at the trunk.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was one of those rare. I think it just snowed the night before, and I got out there before it melted.
Very cool. Yeah. And I love the symbolism also communicated through, like one person all alone type of thing. There's a lot of symbolism in the meaning behind, that one tree in the middle of the field, right?
Yeah.
Everything is dead around it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like that tree line in the back is a wall
Mm-hmm.
of cedar and pine, and it's for another side road. But if I took this picture from a different, I wouldn't have gotten the shadow. But if I took a photo more to the left of the tree, you would have seen that there's acres, and it's nothing. It's the only tree.
Yeah.
That's in the center of a field for like probably 4 or 5 farm fields. And it's to me, I was just like, I was like, yeah, you can only get it by going on the farmer's property, and I was far away. His house is far away that he wouldn't have known that I was on there anyways. But
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was. I don't trespass usually, but you know, sometimes you gotta.
Yeah, yeah. You could always gift this photo to the farmer.
Exactly, and I did that.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, change the subject here,
Yeah.
but a couple months ago when we had that big solar storm and Steve had that crazy northern lights over his restaurant. Well,
Yeah.
we got northern lights down in Guelph, and I trespassed on to a golf course
Okay.
because I wanted I wanted the country club
Yeah.
and the northern lights over it. So I
Okay.
did that, and then I gifted it to them, the pitcher.
There you
It's like,
go.
sorry, man, I was here like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and
I didn't do anything bad. I didn't disturb anybody, but here you go. Here's a nice beautiful photo for you.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool. Paying it forward. I love it. Awesome.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I think this was the finale photo in your
That is-
set today.
My finale photo.
Awesome.
I'm sorry I don't have more.
That's okay. That's okay. You know, you don't live in the snowless Guelph anymore, so we know that your winter portfolio is just going to explode in the next few years as you take over the Lake of Bays.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've already started. I had took photos of a mink stealing
Nice.
frogs out of my pond like 3 days ago.
Those are my frogs in my
I
pond.
was like, oh, this is sweet. And then yesterday morning I woke up and there was a fox doing like a nosedive.
Oh, they do that, and it is amazing to see.
Oh, it was crazy. I'm there and I'm like, is that a fox? I'm like, well, that's a healthy looking fox.
Yeah.
And like, maybe it's a girl. Maybe she's pregnant. Because like I gather this might be the time of year where they get pregnant.
Yeah,
Do the
maybe.
foxes not go like 9 months pregnancy?
I wouldn't know.
As far as I know, elephants are the only ones that go extended term.
Yeah.
But yeah, but whatever it was, male or female, it was doing some nice like nosedives, and I was just like, oh man, that's so sweet. My camera's in my truck.
Dang. Of course. You mean your camera's not a part of your body?
I was out. The other day doing the swans at in Washago.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go to the liquor store down there. So I brought my camera with me because I'm like, oh, I'm just going to the beach right there then. So I just did a couple photos.
Nice, nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all those photos. Richard says beautiful photography, Ken, and I wholeheartedly agree.
Okay.
And if the audience, if you're out there and you want to support Ken, it's true_north_image on Instagram. And then, of course, Kenny's newest business, toloonswoodshop.com, also on Instagram as well. So please go out and support some of our presenters that we have here.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, you're more than welcome to hang out on the call, or if you have to get going, just you can always exit the Google Meet. But we do have Joe out there. Joe, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
And I can hear you too. I can see you. We have overcome the technical difficulties. How about that? Thank you so much for your patience, persevering through that.
No problem. I just had the wrong browser.
The wrong browser. You know, there's always a fix, right? There's always
Yep.
a way to get through it, and you did so. So we appreciate that so much. Awesome. And I love the color of your shirt. Orange is my favorite color, so we're in good hands here.
That is the Dutch call.
I know, right? And I do know that, yes, you are from the Netherlands. So I love to see that you're still continuing the patriotism. That's great. And
It's also advertising Aspen Valley, so like two of my favorite things.
yeah, the color orange in Aspen Valley. And yes, if you actually just want to remind the audience here, Aspen Valley, that is a animal sanctuary, correct?
That's right. It's located near Warsaw, and we do a lot of animal rehabilitation. I volunteer there.
Yeah. Yeah, which is so important, right? Because conservation is important, and I mean, the animals need help because habitat is under threat, and climate change is really affecting them in negative ways. So Aspen Valley, if you haven't looked them up, definitely check them out. And so yeah, let's jump into it. So we're looking at a really, really adorable animal right here. What's the story behind this photo?
This is Mystic, one of the tournament animals in Aspen Valley.
Yeah.
I after the big snowstorm, the thing, like I went on a Friday, help a little bit because I couldn't make it during the week because my wife couldn't get down from the city, so I didn't have transportation for my normal days of volunteering. So on a Friday I went and did some volunteering, and then I had to wait for, spend some time waiting around for one of the volunteers to be finished so I could take them shopping. And, so I went for a walk around the permanent animal locations. And so I took some pictures of the animals, and this Arctic fox looked very content with all the snow that we got.
It does look so content. So this is an Arctic fox, very adorable.
His name is Mystic, and I was just pleased with the big smile on his face.
Yeah, it's a priceless expression. What a great little moment here. Oh wow. And now, does their fur change any more than what we see it here? Like, is this like the complete winter coat, or does the fur continue changing color? Like, does it get more whiter, or is that pretty much what it will look like?
I'm not 100% sure. Like, this is my first winter that I'm working or volunteering at Aspen.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I have seen them in the summer, and it's a little bit different color, but this was great. I really liked the way he was laying there, very content in the big snow, and
Yeah, it's just adorable. I'm smiling just as much as the fox is. It's so cute. That's fantastic. Taken from Aspen Valley. Okay, the second photo here in your set. This, is this where you live? I know that you have a long, beautiful driveway.
No, this is at Aspen Valley.
This is Aspen Valley. All right.
This is Aspen Valley. It's some of the landscape that the property is on.
Yeah.
It's the same day taken. This had some time to go. You're going towards the entrance here, and the barn is on the other side, and the enclosure that you're seeing behind the car is Tippy the coyote, and cannot come up with the other coyote's name, but that is the enclosures for the coyotes, and then the office is over there too.
Very cool. And they must have a lot of snow to shovel, right?
Yeah, the snow gets Mike works hard on the snow removal, and so there's a lot of snow that needs to be moved, and it's hard sometimes keeping everything clean and organized, but we try our best.
Yeah. Do they ever get the volunteers to do any shoveling?
Mike does. I once in a while I do some shoveling of the buildings, getting onto the steps and stuff like that. But normally Mike does it most with the big machinery.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For that amount of driveway, you definitely do need a decent machine.
And the volunteers, mostly the full-time volunteers, clear the entrances to the cages and stuff like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Love that blue sky, though.
That is beautiful, yeah.
Just amazing. Very cool. So more from Aspen Valley. Very nice. Okay, and so is this another view?
see. Still, yeah, this is the schoolhouse.
Oh.
Basically taken from on top of the the barn, the top entrance to the barn, where most of the work gets done. So
Okay.
that, I just like that schoolhouse. It's a beautiful old log cabin. So that, this is another view of Aston Valley. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, one of the most beautiful human-made structures that you can plop in a winter scene is a log cabin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think the plans are to move that schoolhouse to another location at the property.
Yeah.
Right now we're not really using it because, in the process of moving it to somewhere else. So,
Yeah.
it's still standing there and it still looks beautiful.
Well, I hope that they preserve the structure as much as possible when they move it.
Oh yeah,
Oh, good.
It will be moved to a new location, I think, when they're getting around to it.
Yeah. Very cool. And again, just seeing that blue sky pop next to the actually the blue sky is probably like the most prominent color in this whole scene.
Yeah.
Wispy.
It was a beautiful day, just the first day after the snowstorm.
Yeah, it's gorgeous days, right? When the snow just
Yep.
just covers everything, right? That's so cool. Okay. Ooh, all right. And then our next photo, a close-up of a bird here on a branch in the wintertime. I'm not good enough with my birds to be able to tell you what this species
This
is.
is at my house. It's an American goldfinch.
American goldfinch. Okay.
Yeah. I basically like to I can see them from my living room, and I like to do close-ups of the birds. Basically shoot them through the glass, through the window. Like I don't go outside. I just sit on my couch and point my camera and try to get the birds to cooperate. And it's nice to see them once in a while with on snow-covered tree branches.
Yeah, it's so great that you were able to get some snow right on the branches here.
Yeah.
And birds, and it's so, I've said this a bunch of times before on our live stream, but everybody's always obsessed about the bears and the moose and all that stuff, but you only see the big animals once in a while, quite rare, right? So but meanwhile the birds right outside your window, as you just said, right? So us wildlife photographers take advantage of when you get really, really special visitors just like this, right?
Yeah. Like we started up in camera club for the Berry Sound area in January.
Yeah.
And basically what we're trying to tell people, sometimes in your front yard or your backyard you have enough stuff to photograph if you actually put your mind to it.
Yep, exactly. And in a way, it really sharpens your photography eye, right? To make an ordinary, or in quotation marks, ordinary bird look stunning, right? There's a lot of skill that goes behind that. So I'm a huge advocate of backyard birding and backyard bird photography as well.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, seeing that the nice milky bouquet in the back with all those pine needles, love that. Love that. Okay, all right. So we've got another landscape here. It looks like you've captured. Are those massive snowflakes in the sky?
That is beside my driveway. You see part of the drive is still on the thing.
Yeah.
That is on the side of our house, and it was snowing at the time. So I really like to capture trees. I love trees, and this is one of them. That we have another one right in front of the house, but this one is always when it's covered in snow, it's always beautiful. And, I just love it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. trees capture my imagination all the time. I could just look at them all day long, right? Yeah.
I really look for trees. Like I like doing silhouettes in sunshine and stuff like that. And you know, like part of our assignment for this month at the camera club is we have to take a winter picture with no man-made objects in the picture.
Right.
This one will still not qualify because I have the snowbanks that were man-made. So like, but like this is what you have to start looking for if you're trying to, make something or you get an assignment that you need to fulfill. You have to find out what you can actually shoot and it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that you say that about the snowbanks because the ordinary average person might look at this and not think that there's any human influence, but like you say, there is.
There is still a lot. It's very hard. It's very hard not to get any human influence in a picture.
I love that assignment idea. That's so cool. And Kenny chiming in here says it looks like a painting, and I completely agree with that. Yeah, and I just love that you were able to capture these massive snowflakes that are falling as well. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Ooh, okay, we have another bird friend here, and we're looking at maybe a red pine. I think it's a red pine. Correct me if I'm wrong. But and then of course, now this bird, I know what this bird is. This is a blue jay for sure.
Blue jay, we have quite a few around our property. We have probably about 5-6 hanging around all the time, and they're very expressive birds.
Yeah.
People say sometimes they're too noisy. I don't find. And I don't find them bullying the other birds because they have all the other birds hanging around all the time too. So I don't find that they're always bullying and trying to get the prime spot for themselves.
Yeah.
I like to see them come around.
Yeah. You can't paint all the blue jays with the same brush, right?
That's
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, again, nailing that bouquet in the back. The little snowflakes that you can see falling as well.
Yep, I really like capturing during the snow. See if I can, capture the snowflakes falling. It's not always possible. I'm very happy when I'm able to be able to do it.
Yeah, with the right depth of field, you can do it, right? And I think that's what you really accomplished here.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then, of course, the great thing about a blue jay in the winter scenery is that blue just pops, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Very cool. And last question about this photo: is this also taken from your backyard or somewhere else?
No, this is from my front window.
Front window. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, we have the tree right at the hitting the bird feeders where they come from. They are closer by the window.
Yeah.
This is a little far, the birds take their time, coming and going to the feeder. We have the woodpeckers, you all your small birds, and then the blue jays come around. So
Yeah.
So once in a while, you see a different one coming, like the evening grosbeaks. They don't come around very often. They seem to be coming along when it's really cold, only like when it's minus 20.
Yeah.
They come, but for the rest, they don't come very, very often.
Yeah. Good old minus 20, right?
Yep.
But we're used to it, right?
That's right. Actually, way too mild right now. I wish we had a little bit colder.
I agree with you. I miss negative 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now this photo, is this your driveway, or something?
No, this is not my driveway.
Oh.
This is behind our property. This is the Seguin Sigmund Trail snowmobile park to park from Algonquin to Gilbert. So like this is behind our house. Like the snowmobiles. People do use it for
Right.
horseback riding, trail riding, skiing. I do snowshoeing on it. You know, but it runs behind our house, and it's actually part of the Trans Canada Trail. So, but
Wow.
it mostly is snowmobiling and ATV in the
Yeah.
summertime.
Very cool. My favorite thing is the shadows that are going right across the trail.
Yeah.
I love that you caught that.
Hmm.
That is, yeah. The shadows of wintertime trees are totally underrated.
Yep.
And
Like I love going at those, and I like making those images. I like to do them in black and white too. They're quite interesting, seeing them in black and white because of all the shadows. But I didn't include any of them at this time.
yeah, very cool, very beautiful. Got our next one here. Ooh, okay, so we haven't seen any water imagery yet, but here we go with one. Is this another photo from around your neighborhood?
Yeah, this is Seguin Falls on the Seguin River.
Nice.
This is the upstreams of the falls.
Okay.
Um, I like this area actually better. Like the falls are nice too, but this is more open, and you can see the trees again. What I love. Then the other side is more filled with other trees, and goes down into the area where the water flows into. So this is upstream of Seguin Falls. It's just off the 518.
Okay.
There is a bridge over the river, so this is where I take the pictures from.
Nice.
You cannot go off the thing because it's private property, but the bridge is just enough to take the pictures from.
Very cool. Well, we have Corey online saying this is stunning, and I completely agree.
I love this picture. I go to Seguin Falls probably every season. I like going there, visiting every season to see how it changes.
Yeah, I love that you say that because that's what I tell people when they come here to visit Algonquin Park is that they'll say, well, like, why should I come here in the wintertime? And the first thing I tell them is like, well, you can go to the same spots that you love in the summertime, and it's like you're in a totally new forest, right?
That's right.
So just like you said, you can visit the same spot in every season, and it just feels like a totally different scene and landscape. Which is so
this
cool.
is only about 15 minutes from my house, so it's not that far away.
That's awesome. Yeah, and what a novelty it is to see open water in the wintertime, and the kinds of really cool reflections that you can get with open water in the wintertime.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is because the falls are quite heavy flowing.
Yeah.
This is why we have open water on the upstream part of it.
Yeah. And I don't want to pretend to be an expert birder, but what I hear from the birding folks is that open water in the wintertime, a good place to go to look for ducks. Ducks will always be on the lookout for open water in cold weather.
Yeah, I have seen ducks upstream from here, but not at this particular location.
Yeah, maybe the water's moving a little too quickly right here, right?
Could be, I really don't know.
Yeah. Very, very gorgeous and amazing clouds. Yeah. I really smiled when I saw this image here because you're. Anyways, I'll let you talk about it. You tell me more about this image.
Okay, I went to Gilbert Park.
Okay.
Just to go and see, in the winter time. And it was a really mild day, it was just not cold enough to actually snow,
Yeah.
and it was quite kind of rain, sleet. And when I left the park, I was driving out of it, and then all of a sudden I saw those deer standing on the road,
Yeah.
and you can see it is kind of participating something like I don't think it's really snow per se, but it's and I just wanted to take a picture, and I was quite surprised that I actually got the picture the way it turns out. Like
Yeah.
quite happy, quite happy with this picture.
It's really neat, and it reminds me that you can do a lot of interesting things with the depth of field with snow. Or this is more of a flurry, you were saying, like it was kind of like a super wet snow.
It was very wet, like it was raining.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was snow, sleet. Like
Yeah.
you can see the road is very wet. Like
Yeah.
like it. I spent some time at Kildare Provincial Park, but then I came out and I was happy to see this. There's quite a bit of deer population around Kildare Park.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was very happy with this picture.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very creative wildlife photo because of, well, I mean, it's the snow just in front of the animal that's in focus, so it just creates this mystique about it, right?
Yeah, but the snow is everywhere. It's just by the animals it comes out.
That's right. Yes, and like in front of the shape of the animal, that's where you can really see it, right? Yeah. Very cool. Okay, and another is this the Seguin River again?
I think so. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that is a downstream part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So like all this, like on the underneath the water, like the water is still flowing quite heavily,
Yeah.
and like all this part here is private property,
Okay.
and I'm still taking it from the bridge, so I'm not trespassing or anything like that. But like this is what you can see from the bridge when you look the other way, downstream.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I just love how the snow looks like icing on the trees.
Yeah.
Like cake icing. So cool. Very, very nice. And just the right amount of light shining through.
Yeah, it was a very bright day that day.
Yeah, yeah. Now my favorite thing about this picture is that like a little bit of pink or magenta on the tree line?
Okay, this is where I used to work. This is called Moose Mountain by just outside Lake access point from Algonquin Park.
Okay.
Like this is part of the Forgotten Trails in South River area.
Okay.
Moose Mountain is one of their like trails that you can climb up the mountain, and so like this is the camp that I used to work at. Project there, camp there is just around the corner from here. But like our students that we had used to go climb the mountain, with the staff, and then it's a really beautiful area. I have climbed it quite a bit myself and took pictures from on top of the mountain, over Algonquin Park. Do you know the South River area at all?
I know, yeah. I have camped in North T Lake area.
Okay.
So I haven't spent a lot of time in the village of South River, but I've driven through there to get to the access point on Lake Kawawemog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Round Lake. Kawawemog is the native land name. I have trouble pronouncing it, so I use Round Lake more than
Round Lake, yeah, people say it. Round Lake, yep.
Yeah.
It's a pretty round lake, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is, like I spend a lot of time in this area because I was working at the camp, and I spent 4 nights like I stayed in the camp in a small trailer. So like after my shift was over, I used to go explore the area and take pictures around there.
Very cool. And have you climbed Moose Mountain in the wintertime?
Once, and only once. The snow is quite deep when you get up there.
Yeah.
The snow.
And then, of course, when you get to the top, you got to go all the way back down, right? Yeah, very cool.
Oh, we actually used to do around the corner. We used to tap trees for the sugar maple.
Beautiful.
And we used to boil it at camp, and then the kids would, have it with the pancakes.
Nice.
This is the other tree I really love at our thing. Like this tree is such a bird demon. Like, we actually buried our cat when it passed away right underneath the tree because I used to sit on the couch watching all the birds disappear in the tree.
Oh.
So, but this is right in front of our house.
Yeah.
And, the birds basically come out of this tree and then they fly in towards the window and then, like have the helpings of the bird feeders, and then they fly back in there.
Wow. And I like your decision to go with a high contrast here.
I try to change things around. Like sometimes I set my camera on high key or anything like that. So I'm trying to play around with some of the pictures.
Yeah, and that's the joy of photography. And yes, I was on the tip of my tongue. High key. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the setting I use for this picture, and I just try to play around and see the different ways of portraying the same tree over and over again.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think you did great with this one. And I think this might be the last one in your set that you sent us. Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, very good. Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joe, for presenting with us. And Joe is a great person who volunteers his time at Aspen Valley. So Aspen Valley is an animal sanctuary, so absolutely check them out and support them. So Richard Mann also says, great image, Joe. Awesome. Well, I'm so delighted that we overcame the technical difficulties and we were able to enjoy your presentation. Thank you again, Joe.
You're welcome.
All right. So you're welcome to stay on the line and say goodbye to everybody on the call after we're done. Or if you have to get going, you can definitely just exit the call whenever you need. All right, but before we wrap things up today, my Howl co-organizer, Steve Dunsford, is coming on up. Let me load the photo here. Here we go. Fantastic. Okay, so Steve, great to reconnect with you again, as always. And what are we starting off with here today?
Well, this was actually on Christmas Day, so it was a nice Christmas present. I met up with Jesse and Susan in the park, and they had seen this owl on the way in to where we met at Opeongo Road.
Yeah.
And so we were watching an otter on the for a while, but it was kind of far away, so we thought we'll head back that way to see if the owl's still around.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in the same location, and we were kind of looking around. These cars stopped, and these ladies said, "Oh, there's a barred owl just like down the road." So we knew it was that. So it was just a matter of still had to find it, but it was in a really nice location because they said when they saw it earlier in the morning, it was on a wire. So it's really nice that we got to see it on this tree here. So and it's also I've seen like snowy owls, great gray owls, and a few others, but I've never seen a barred owl, and they're the most common. I hear them a lot, but I've just never seen one before until then. So it was an awesome Christmas present.
Yeah, that's so cool. This is the Who Cooks For You owl, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, very famous by its mnemonic device. And yeah, you're right. It's way more pretty when you can get it sitting on a thing from the natural environment and not just a wire or a post.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen, but I mean, it is nice when.
Yeah, I mean, a picture of a barred owl on a wire is better than no picture of an owl.
That's right.
But yeah. And you know, kind of ties into what I was talking about with Joe is, you know, sometimes it can be hard to take a photo where you don't see any sort of human influence, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is difficult sometimes.
Yeah. What kind of tree is that, by the way, that it's on?
I think it's a spruce, a black spruce.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, they're so like mossy, right?
Yeah, and it was in like a swampy area, so that's where those trees kind of grow.
Which is great for owl viewing, right?
Yeah, well, it was
big open
hunting.
space. It was hunting.
It was actively hunting, and it flew down a couple times. Unfortunately, there was a lot of trees and branches in the foreground, and I mean it happened so fast that, and then I just couldn't get a shot, and it moved to after this. It was on this tree. It moved to another tree that was not far away for a little while, and then it flew, and then eventually it kind of just flew back away from us. We couldn't see it anymore.
Yeah. Super cool. Well, that's the best Christmas present anybody could have asked for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, and now is this the same owl? The next photo here. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. This looks like it's on a cedar tree, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so this is where it flew. It had died down to get something. It didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And then when it flew back up, it flew over to this tree, which wasn't that far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it perched on here for quite a while, and then it tried again to get something from here, and it wasn't successful. And then that's when it kind of flew in behind where we couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But here it was kept there. I guess it was kind of listening to try and find something, and there must have been, I don't know what, something caught its attention, so it was kind of looking around the tree.
Yeah.
Spot.
Do you think, like, was it listening to something on the ground below the tree or something like in the tree?
I think that something else. There might have been something like off to the side, because it was, when it was looking it was actually looking kind of towards the ground and listening at other times. But yeah, it's hard. I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Cool.
At this point.
Very cool. All right. Oh, yeah. This scene, is this from somewhere on Highway 60?
Yeah, that's from one of the little beaver ponds and that. So it's hard. I haven't got like a lot of winter shots this year or last year, unfortunately. So these are from previous ones. So some of these ones, this is the only landscape one that I took. I really like this, and I might have presented it before, and maybe a few of the other ones too. I tried to. I know I did other ones from the series of moose and otter and stuff that you have now, but I picked ones that I thought that I hadn't shown already.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just really like this. It's just the lighting and with the snow and the on it. It's just such a nice winter. You know, it's all seasons are nice. Fall, everybody likes to come here in the fall, but to me, like, this is just as nice as fall colors.
Oh yeah, and yeah. I mean, that is this a sunrise or sunset that we're looking at?
That's a sunset.
That's a sunset. Yeah, I mean that. Just the contrast between those super warm oranges and yellows and reds, and then everything else is kind of like a purple and a blue shade. Just that color contrast totally gives me goosebumps. Very cool. And then an animal track as well in the foreground there. Is that what that is?
Yeah. I'm not sure what. I can't remember now what it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe an otter or something.
Yeah, something a bit smaller and something that can walk through, a swampy area like
Yeah.
that. Very cool. Very nice. Ah, of course. And then everybody's favorite animal featured on our 5-cent coin.
Yeah. So I mean, the beavers with snow and winter, they are gathering sticks in the fall
Right.
and into the winter. Like this year, they were still being spotted like into early January because we had such a warm December.
Right.
So they're still out feeding and gathering like sticks for their pile of food.
Yeah.
When they're in their beaver lodges in the wintertime. And you'll also see them like this in the spring too. They'll start coming up when there's still snow and a bit of ice. I can't remember actually whether this was I think this one was actually early in the winter when it was still there was still some ice. It might have been a warm period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this year it was like like into January, and they were still being spotted, which is really unusual.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
It's not normal winters anymore.
No. No. Yeah, winter
Not
is
for this area anyway.
Yeah. Well, they say that like the Arctic is warming at a faster pace than other places in the world. So even places that are supposed to be like solidly frozen are not really. Yeah.
We've had I think I've been up here 30 years, and last December was a bit cold last year. January was warm, and it was the warmest January I had ever experienced. But this year, it's been the warmest winter so far. I mean, both December and January.
Yeah.
We had 2 or 3 nights where it got into the minus 20s earlier in January.
But that's it.
And that's it. Like it's just this is not what we used to get.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
In fact, right now it feels kind of like December.
Yeah.
It feels like early December.
Like
yeah.
Today was like a spring day with the sun out and everything. It was a few degrees above zero. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have another aquatic animal here, famous in Algonquin Park.
Yeah.
A really, really slimy otter.
Yeah.
You could just see it. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
There's not a whole lot. Like, I mean, there's some different birds that you can see in the park in the wintertime. And there's usually otters are one of the mammals that you get to see. Beavers early in the winter or late, and then moose. If you're lucky, you'll see a lynx.
Oh my god, that's the crown jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Foxes. There's just not a whole lot of wildlife. They're hibernating or they've migrated.
Right.
Pine martens. That's another one that people see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the otters are just fun to watch and photograph.
Oh my gosh,
They always look like they're having a good time.
Always, right? Yeah. And I love that you got this one. It's basically looking right into the camera.
Yeah.
Which is quite cool.
They don't seem to be afraid of people, but they'll be making a bunch of noise when they see you because they're a warning thing, but they don't get too close usually, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, what a great little shot. And let me guess, it was diving in and out of that little hole next to it?
Yeah. They eat the fish and stuff when they bring them up onto the snow and then eat them.
Gotcha.
Fish and mostly fish, frogs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful. Okay, let's go to our next. Oh, okay. Speaking of otters finding fish, this one is just feasting. It looks like a fish, yeah?
Yeah. I think pretty much this one here kept going up and down, and it
wow.
I think every time it was a fish that it brought up. I didn't see it with any frogs.
Wow. So. Yeah, just devouring it there. You can really appreciate the tail here in this photo as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a rat tail.
Yeah, when they're in the water, like in the other seasons, at first sometimes it's hard to tell if it's a beaver or otter at first glance. But then if they dive, you can always tell by the tails. Like, you know, that it's obvious the thinner tail of the otter. And
right. Yeah, and those teeth. I don't think I don't think I've seen such a great display of what otter teeth looks like. Yeah. Joe says, "Great shot. Love otters."
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, they're great animals.
They are great animals.
I know Aspen has. I think Aspen has a few right now. They're rehabilitating, and I've seen them post photos of them.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Social media.
I think that's a tadpole. I think it's before it's a frog.
Yeah.
Maybe, eh?
Yeah. It almost has like a little bit of a catfish looking head. I'm not an aquatics expert, but
Yeah,
It's just a weird tail.
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. You're right. Whatever it is, it has a tadpole vibe. You're right.
That is. Look at the teeth.
I know.
Right? That's what I was saying. Like, such a good profile of the otter teeth here.
I like that. I like the webbed hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Just unreal. And also, is it like biting down on the fish and just like squinting?
I think
It's
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has its eyes closed in
yeah.
I think in this shot, and then it had been holding it, and then put it, just reached down with its mouth and started eating it.
Wild thing. That's that's a priceless moment.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, okay. And we were talking about this mammal a little earlier. I know that they are quite famous here in the wintertime.
Yeah, pine martens. See them. I mean, they hang around. Good and bad thing is around the mullets in the park now, because they figured out how to get into them. So I mean, that's an obvious place to find them. But I've often seen them like in random, like out in in the trails you want to run by, and different spots along the highway and that. So it's always nice to see them like in a more natural setting.
Right. Not in front of a garbage can.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So I've got a few shots. This is not one, but I did get a few shots of one that was actually one that was on Opeongo. Kind of ran out and then came back, and I was able to get a few shots of it, and then just kind of disappeared. And it was like in a spot where you wouldn't normally think there would be one.
Yeah.
And then one along the highway too.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, somebody once said the most cutest and also vicious animal simultaneously. Yeah. Yeah, really neat pose here as well. You can really see how acrobatic they are, because I guess it's kind of like holding its own weight by its hind legs or something as it's like peering downward here.
Yeah, they're amazing at climbing trees.
So acrobatic. Yeah.
Do you know the range of these, Steve? Like, would there be any down my way?
I would think so, yeah, because I know around Bancroft there's pine martens too, south of this area. So I'm sure that there'd be some out your way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you find any around your backyard, Ken.
I will.
All right. Ooh. And then, yeah, you were speaking of, how special and rare it is to find a big mammal in the wintertime.
Yeah.
This is quite the gold mine. And also, the antlers are still on, so is this early winter here?
Yeah, this would have been I think in December.
Yeah.
I got this. I don't know if I've shown this one on the live stream before, but I have shown ones from this series of that day.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to pick a few that I didn't think I'd shown, but it's pretty neat. Like, just you just don't seem to see moose as much in the wintertime. They're eating branches and in the forest more. I have heard that in the last week or two that a few people have been seeing them once in a while. A lot of tracks too
Yeah.
lately in the last little while. Maybe the warmer weather's kind of got them moving around, but
Yeah.
definitely in the winter, like when there's snow and the early winter when they still have their racks on, is pretty neat to
Oh my gosh.
capture some shots of them.
Yeah. Love that. Even just the shadow of
Yeah.
the head of the moose. That's so cool. Yeah, and of course, one of the best things about winter is tracking, right? That is the tracking season.
Yeah. That's fun. It's a good time to practice
Really.
trying to figure out what animal they are and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and it gives you clues about animal behavior as well.
Yep.
Right? Very cool. And I'm going to assume, so the second photo here, that was probably the same day, same moose.
Yep.
Cool. And look at all of the snow stuck on the antlers.
I know.
Yeah, if you kind of zoom in a bit.
Yeah, I'll do
zoom
that.
in,
Yeah.
You can sort of see its mouth open. I think it. I
Oh
don't know if
yeah. Yeah. Here. I'll
it was snow or what it was, why its mouth was open, but I think maybe at that point.
branches? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I was eating. I don't know. Could be, but it
Strange.
was eating the branches up higher.
Yeah.
Maybe it's reaching down for some lower down, but
Yeah. Unless it's just posing for you.
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
A different pose and the snow kind of, even though its head was down like that, the snow was kind of stuck to the antlers.
It's totally stuck.
Yeah, it didn't lose that snow off of it.
Yeah. Wow, very cool. Okay, and this has got to be the same moose. Snow on the antlers. Now it's looking right at you.
Yeah.
Cool. Look at those eyes. Neat. Yeah, I can't say that I see too many photos with, well, A, moose in the wintertime, and B, with snow on antlers. That's so unique.
Yeah, it's neat. It is neat to get that combination, and it's not easy to. I haven't seen a bull moose in a long time, actually, this year. It's been probably back in October, early November, maybe.
Yeah. Corey is writing in, awesome capture, Steve.
Thanks, Corey.
Okay. Now is this okay? So the next photo here, a moose with snow on the antlers, but it's different time of day here. Was this the same
Yeah.
day or a different day?
It was the same day. So
Wow.
it was earlier in the morning. The heavy snowstorm was hitting,
Yeah.
and I got some shots of it near the highway, and then it was really bad snowstorm. So the moose kind of moved away, and I left. And then the other series of shots was later in the day. I found it in the same area, and the storm had finished, and the sun had actually come out. So that's why the lighting and everything's so much different. But yeah, this
Wow.
was right in the middle of the blizzard. It was brutal. But it was
Wow.
neat, to see it. Another car was pulled over. That's how I knew that
Yeah.
something was there.
Yeah. Is this in black and white?
No,
No.
it's just like so little light at that time, and
Yeah.
it just that's exactly
Cool.
that's just how it went.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very
It was hard
cool.
actually to focus.
Oh my
when
gosh.
it's snowing
What
so hard to focus on the moose.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. What a cool winter moose that is. And I think that's the last photo of your set here today, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Awesome.
Maybe
Well,
older ones.
oh. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing today. That well, you were just talking about snow. Let's pray. Let's hope for some snow, right?
You get a blizzard like that.
The blizzard that happened on this day of this moose photo needs to happen tomorrow. Right? Wow, very cool, very cool. Well, so Steve Howell 2024 happening November 1, 2, and 3 at the end of this year. And like I was explaining to all the viewers earlier in our stream here, we're just on the precipice of signing our headliner speaker. So we will be releasing more details probably this week and at some point we will have I will have a 30-minute live stream interview with our headliner as well. I can't release the details just yet, just not until the ink dries on the contract. We're like almost there, and so yeah, we're super excited about that. And the itinerary is going to be pretty much identical to last year's, except we're going to have a whole bunch of new speakers and featured photographers speaking with us. But yeah, Steve, did you want to input anything about Howl, or just tell us how things are going in general with Mad Musher and stuff?
Well, it's been a slow winter for business, so without the, we just got started last week, and then now it's with this, my business in the winter is mostly snowmobilers. That's
right.
The main part of it, and also other people too, like skiers and
yeah.
But I mean, if you don't have the trails for skiing, snowmobiling, and winter activities, there's not a lot of people around in this area.
Yeah, yeah,
it's difficult. But for as far as Howl, yeah, I'm looking forward to Howl and getting our lineup confirmed over the next while. And I'm sure last year's went really well. It was exciting. It was a lot of fun. And I'm sure this year's will be just as good.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah, Johnny Marriott hung out with us the whole time. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's great. It's really good when to have the headline speakers participate in the whole weekend events and that, and especially that they're he was very approachable for people talking, asking questions and that, so it was really good.
Yeah, for a photo celebrity, yeah, Johnny Marriott was very down to earth. It was really refreshing. Yeah. And I was going to mention something. You're now featuring 2 buffet days at the Mad Musher, right? Is it taco buffet on Saturday and breakfast buffet on Sunday, right?
Yeah, not every Saturday we'll be doing it, but every Sunday between 10 and noon we do the breakfast one, and then we do homemade pizzas on Thursday nights. So it gives some different things in town that people can try.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I don't think I've missed a Mad Musher breakfast buffet yet.
No. The most regular people, I think.
Yeah. Oh, we're proud to be the number ones. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Incredible. All right. Well, that's all from us. Again, if you're looking for more information about Howl, it's howlphotocon.com. We're going to be releasing the details of our headliner speaker very soon, and the rest of our bookings, we will also broadcast all that information out within the next few weeks. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to our presenters. Joe, thank you so much. Kenny, thank you so much as well. And of course, Steve, thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, it's always fun.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up here, and we will announce our next live stream for next month within the next week or two. And if there's anybody out there that wants to be a presenter, just check out our Howl socials, and you'll find out all the information there for how you can participate. But anyways, that's all from us. Thanks again, all of the fantastic presenters with all of the talent. We will see you next time.